Good evening, I'm Brian Sterling, and welcome to our Veterans Voices special. Among the stories we're bringing you tonight, a look at a program coming to Kent County to connect those who have served with critical resources. Learn about Operation Greenlight ahead. And an alternative treatment some veterans are using to treat mental health issues. Find out why some are using psychedelics to treat PTSD. And the long wait is over for a World War II veteran. We'll take you to the special moment when he finally received his high school diploma. Our Veterans Voices special starts right now. Thanks for joining us on this Veterans Day weekend. For the next half hour, we're hearing from vets in West Michigan about their service and letting them tell their stories. Plus, we're talking to people who want to make sure that those who served are not forgotten. First up, oftentimes veterans are the most camouflaged when they arrive home from service. Now there's a new program in Kent County called Operation Greenlight. Greenlight, a term often used to describe forward progress. It's also the name of a new initiative designed to recognize veterans in our communities and get them the help that they need.
I had the luxury of working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, at night, doing all the baking for the 150, 160 people on the ship.
Eric Nelson is a veteran of the Vietnam War, where in the Navy he served as a cook on a 300-foot boat known as an LST. A landing ship tank that supported operations from the DMZ to the Delta. Now, a half-century removed from combat, Nelson's current mission is to raise awareness about the challenges faced by many veterans and the resources that are available to help.
We have veterans out there that kind of slip through the cracks. They might not give the right answers to the VA, and that slows things down.
Unfortunately, we've heard that phrase, often here at Veteran Services.
Kent County Veteran Services acknowledges that some vets struggle to find the resources they need. Enter a new initiative called Operation Greenlight, a national effort that seeks to empower and connect communities and veterans through a coordinated transition process.
And it's unfortunate, sometimes assets are a barrier. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's hard to make that phone call to get things started. And if you maybe have more than one thing going on, then maybe you have to make 2 or 3 or 4 phone calls. And that's exhausting, especially if you're dealing with depression or a physical ailment.
As part of Operation Greenlight's rollout, the Blue Bridge in downtown Grand Rapids will be illuminated green during the week of November 11th for Veterans Day. And on the night of the Veterans Day parade, those on the route will be given green glow sticks to show both appreciation and to let veterans know help is available.
The basic of the Greenlight Initiative is to bring the plight of veterans out to the public. I firmly believe we have to help them in any way we can.
Operation Greenlight just launched this past week. For more resources and information, go to our story at woodtv.com. Coffee and art have come together for Veterans Awareness. News 8's Joe LaFurgey has the details on a new coffee shop with a purpose planned for next year in downtown Grand Rapids.
Come next spring, this historic building and the area surrounding it at Veterans Memorial Park in downtown Grand Rapids will become a place where a veteran can get a cup of coffee and much more. Inside, it's a work in progress. Clutter's being packed up, walls will soon come down. And late next May, the old building tucked away on the west side of Veterans Memorial Park at Fulton and Sheldon will be a place for coffee and conversation.
This is a project we've been working on for quite some time.
Michael Hyacinth first thought the dream 10 years ago. The U.S. Navy veteran wanted to find a place to provide an artistic outlet for fellow veterans. Has Heart was born. The nonprofit matches vets with the creative community.
The impact was really profound. We got inquiries from veterans who've been wounded from all around the country asking about this project. Veterans at times during this creative process can be a little anxious, so a nice cup of coffee can relax them and allows them to open up and share their ideas and their stories.
And that's where the coffee shop concept comes in. HasHart will break ground next week on the project, which includes turning the building into a cafe, complete with a patio and takeout window.
Where we can employ veterans and their spouses. In addition to that, we want to continue to showcase the work that veterans have created through our HasHart project.
Metcalf Coffee will supply the Java. Others in the community, from foundations and other philanthropic groups, have responded as well. HasHart has nearly met its $1 million fundraising goal. Along with a warm, welcoming cup of coffee for a vet, Heisden hopes to create a better understanding in the community for their plight.
Ultimately, we want to raise awareness about the different struggles that veterans are facing. PTSD, traumatic brain injury, anxiety and depression. It's going to require an all hands on deck to support veterans. If we just leave veterans to support themselves, then we're going to be tremendously short in meeting that goal.
And if you'd like to learn more about the project and the organization, we have a link to HasHart's website at woodtv.com. In Grand Rapids, Joe LaFurgey, News 8.
At some point in a lifetime, 6% of Americans will be diagnosed with PTSD. After the break, we'll take a look at how our veterans are getting help, including alternative approaches to therapy. And a little later, a golf course with a mission. How the American Dunes course in Grand Haven is raising money for a very special cause. When our Veterans Voice is Special continues. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, about 6% of Americans will be diagnosed with PTSD at some point in their lives, whether they served in the military or not. Depression, anxiety, and suicide continue to haunt our troops after their service has ended, and finding help can often be difficult, if not impossible. Because of this, there is an urgent need for new alternative approaches to therapy, and promise has been shown with drugs as ancient as they are controversial. Initially deployed to Kosovo and then to Iraq at the start of the First Gulf War, Michael Tuffelmeyer served with the 10th Mountain Division of the U.S. Army, the most deployed unit of the regular Army. The fighting was intense, and he lost friends. He remembers having difficulty in returning to civilian life.
And I know I'm not the only guy. I know there's so many guys out there, Marines, Navy guys, dealing with exactly what I'm dealing with, having friends dealing with his family. I think it really opened my eyes to alternative care that could bring about better solutions.
Frustrated with an overwhelmed VA mental health system, Tuffelmeyer is now part of a growing movement among military vets in several U.S. states who are trying to convince lawmakers to further study the use of psychedelic substances like psilocybin mushrooms, LSD, and MDMA for therapeutic use.
Vets aren't out there looking to do crazy things. They're just out there trying to seek some help. A lot of them are too good to ask for help because they feel that it's a weakness inside themselves.
Long stigmatized as drugs of the counterculture, doctors are now studying psychedelics and their therapeutic potential.
A lot of buzz around with these compounds because some of the early studies with these compounds have shown very promising results.
Doctors say that while the risk of addiction or overdose is considered low, they warn that there are serious psychological risks, especially for people with certain forms of mental illness or a family history of those conditions.
And we are being very careful in terms of how we do these studies. They are done in highly controlled environment. Patients are under the supervision of trained mental health professionals.
If these scientists think that there's some headway here, then I'm all for trying it.
Psychedelics are still federally illegal, although a string of cities, including Ann Arbor, have decriminalized so-called magic mushrooms, and investment money is now flowing into the new opportunity. But doctors caution the use of these compounds should be under the supervision of a physician or mental health professional. Still to come, a World War II vet has always wanted a high school diploma after he was drafted before he graduated. Now he has one. We're hearing from him on this special honor next. Diploma delayed. A 95-year-old World War II veteran from Granville recently received his high school diploma at a special ceremony. As News 8's Kyle Mitchell tells us, Lou Nichols was drafted before he finished high school and always wanted to get his diploma. Now he finally got his wish.
It's a day Lou Nichols has been waiting 77 years for.
With honor and pride, we grant Mr. Lewis Nichols his high school diploma from...
And now at the age of 95, he's the newest graduate of Granville High School. The Army veteran was a junior when he was drafted on March 18th, 1945, his 18th birthday.
I had no idea where I was going, but I knew I was going to be drafted. So I went through the 10th grade, and I thought, well, I'm sure my next birthday I'm going to go. So I did.
He served 2 years in Italy and became a sergeant.
I had 58 vehicles I had charge of. And we had a POW camp that we had to take care of in service.
When he returned home, he was able to apply to attend college.
I applied to University of Michigan Extension, and they had a course in Grand Rapids. So I served that for 4 years, got a diploma for that.
But he still hadn't received his high school diploma. Decades went by until one day when he told an employee at the Covenant Living retirement community who made some calls.
I thought, wow, what a wonderful feeling for me. At 95, I never thought I'd have a diploma.
It makes us proud to be Bulldogs.
The assistant superintendent presented the diploma on behalf of the district.
Thank you. This is very exciting. This is certainly something that we are so proud to be a part of. Not only a Granville resident, but somebody who couldn't finish school due to military service to our country. I don't know that there's a higher honor.
Lou's family says they appreciate the recognition.
I think he's looked forward to this for many years, and you know, he worked. He was a sort of a self-made man, had his own businesses in construction and in brick making.
A new honor this new graduate will never forget.
It's going to be hanging on my wall, I'll tell you that. I'll have it framed and put up.
Did they spell your name right? Did they spell your name?
It's Kyle Mitchell reporting. Next up, we're taking you out to a golf course where players are swinging into action. Jack Doles has the very special story of the American Dunes Golf Club and its mission to help others. In July of 2006, 67 golfers signed up for the first ever Patriot Day golf outing at Grand Haven Golf Club. It raised about $6,000. The outing also inspired the man who started it to do more for families of soldiers who have been killed or disabled serving this country. Sports director Jack Doles has his story.
Just off the dune-lined shores of Lake Michigan sits a golf course with a mission.
I've realized that we've created this vessel which people climb on, and we give them an opportunity to do good, because I really believe in my heart most people want to do good.
American Dunes was the brainchild of Dan Rooney. This vessel took off after he met with his boyhood idol Jack Nicklaus and shared his vision.
How difficult was it to walk up to Jack and say, hey, I've got this idea. Would you like to join me?
A moment that was way scarier than that was walking out of the Bears Club with a yes in my hand. Because Jack Nicklaus just said yes, and the weight and the expectations and the no-fail execution that comes with that was terrifying.
Terrifying yet uplifting for this fighter pilot, because not only did Nicklaus say yes, he waived his usual $3 million fee. That's how much he believed in the mission.
You know, I don't have a lot of dreams of my own. I enjoy helping other people's dreams. I'm delighted to be part of this. It's fantastic to be part of it.
For Rooney, this dream started back in 2006. Rooney was returning from his second tour in Iraq. He was on the plane that carried the body of Corporal Brock Buckland home to Grand Rapids. When he watched Brock's twin brother walk alongside the flag-draped casket and meet with the rest of his heartbroken family, Dan was inspired to do something.
There's this, you know, this beautiful irony in life that I've discovered, and it's the greatest drug. It's that when you reach out to help someone, you're actually the one being helped.
So he reached out to Brock's father.
Called me one day and talked to me about the frame, what he thought he wanted to do.
The idea was to hold a golf outing and raise money to give scholarships to family members of soldiers who had been killed or wounded in the line of duty. That was the start of Folds of Honor.
Let them have an education that gives them an opportunity. It doesn't assure success, but it's an enabler. It enables them to maybe accomplish whatever they're capable of.
Fittingly, the first recipient of a Folds Scholarship was Brock's son, Jacob, an honor he cherishes.
Folds isn't just a charity, it's a family. I talk to every single other recipient that I've ever met, and we're like our own therapy for each other kind of thing. No one knows more what you're going through than someone who's gone through it themselves.
By this fall, Folds will have given out more than $200 million in scholarships.
That's Brock.
It won't bring back his son, but Buck Buckland says it does add to his legacy.
Any parent that has to go to their kid's funeral is something none of us want to do. And having gone through it, I can assure you, it's the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. But knowing that there's tens of thousands of kids that are going to benefit from this helps, and it's good. It's a wonderful thing.
The legacy of Brock's sacrifice inspired retired CEO and Air Force veteran Dave North. He became a partner in American Dunes, and now he's putting his efforts into making the value of those scholarships even greater.
$5,000, as good as that is, in today's society, with the cost of education, it's not enough.
As a board member at the University of Memphis, North was able to convince the university to turn that $5,000 scholarship into full tuition. His goal is to get other public universities across the country to do the same. His pitch? Haven't these families already paid enough?
And you know in your heart that all of this goes back to the many, many people in our country that, gave their lives or were disabled for our freedom, and their kids and their family are our responsibility.
Before ever stepping foot on the golf course, players walk through this solemn memorial. Corporal Buckland is one of the soldiers from every branch of the military that's honored on these walls. Their boot prints grace the walkway below their plaques. Every day at 1 o'clock, Taps is played outside the clubhouse. The staff stops what it's doing and pays tribute to fallen soldiers. And quite often, you'll see veterans like 96-year-old Wallace Pearson do the same. He served in World War II.
It's so much deeper here. They talk about it being golf's most heroic round. And from the time you walk into the parking lot through the honors that as you approach the clubhouse, the flag that's flying, and you start to realize there's way more to golf than just this.
As golfers make their way around this Nicklaus design course, they are thanked by Folds families.
We are eternally grateful that our dad's legacy lives on through American Dunes.
They also see 2 plaques on every hole. One honors a soldier, the other pays tribute to one of the 18 majors Nicklaus won during his Hall of Fame career. And from time to time, the Golden Bear pops up on the screen of their cart and regales them with a story about a key shot.
Went to a playoff, and I beat Arnold in the playoff. My first win as a professional.
Now, Mr. Nicklaus and I talk about this place between the two of us as a church. And a church is a place that you come to find spirituality. And this is a golf course that is going to raise people's spirits.
Rooney's goal was to make American Dunes the type of golf course that would inspire golfers and veterans from all across the country to make the pilgrimage to Grand Haven. On this day, David and Judy Faulkner drove from Alabama. They came to see their son.
It's been 13 years.
It's just good to know that the men and women that have made the sacrifice are not forgotten. That's
it gives me hope that for our nation that people still take time to appreciate that freedom is not free.
Their son Blair paid the ultimate price in 2008. He was killed in a training accident.
Blair loved flying, and he told us every day he went on the line to get in the jet, it was like Christmas.
And he said, if I die flying, you'll know that I died doing what I love and serving my country.
It's patriots like Blair and the other soldiers on the memorial that inspire Rooney to keep pushing for growth and Folds of Honor, and to give every penny of profit from this golf course to the cause.
What's it like when you come up with a dream and it exceeds expectations.
I asked that question with Jack Nicklaus yesterday. I said, Jack, in your life, are there moments where reality exceeds your dreams? And he looked at me and said, right now. And I use this very simple concept in life. I call it a divine echo. Like, however you want your life to manifest itself, first you have to put it out in the world, and then it echoes back to you. And this is a divine echo, right? We put it out in the world, but it just has come back with such awesome reverberation.
Jack Doles reporting. That's all for our Veterans Voices special. And to those who did serve, thank you for your service. Have a good night.